This is the farthest way of home I've ever been.
My name is Baron. I'm a Cappy, and Tal's with us as well. And we're doing a interview with Xizorken. I believe I pronounced that correctly this time. Is that right?
Yes, you did. Xizorken. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I've been doing that incorrectly this whole time, but I've been corrected, and now I know it's better. So that's always great. It's first off, let me thank you for coming and taking this time with us. I know that you're quite busy, kind of a busy father figure, if I may. You're one of the first people that I thought of whenever I wanted to interview people. I see you all the time in GLFF, and I hear a lot of good things. There are some bad, but we'll get to that on a different date. So let me take it over to Tal for it.
All right, just a couple things. Can you just briefly describe how long you've been playing Lotro and kind of, a little background on yourself thus far?
Sure. First, I'd like to say thanks for having me. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this. I've been playing Lotro for almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years right around sometime in November. Um, I started out just like everybody else, clueless, not knowing what I was doing, and just over the years, I became the kin leader of the Freedom Fighters on the Silverlode server, and just tried to do my best to be a positive influence on the game and the people that play.
So, I mean, since, you've kind of been around since the beginning, what is your opinion as far as the content that's being released currently? Like, what were your thoughts on Rohan?
Well, when you go back to Shadows of Angmar days, I'm deeply saddened by the path that the game has taken over the years. I do understand it. They got to think about money, but the game used to actually be challenging, and over the years they have dumbed it down more and more and more and more and more, and now it's just a mindless grind anymore. I love the game, so I'm probably not going to stop playing it. I mean, I do have 2 lifetime accounts. It kind of doesn't make any sense to go off and play something else. I got a lot of friends here, and I'd like to. It's the people that I've left the game before for a couple months here and there. I was in an accident that took me away from the game for a couple months, and then I needed a break for a couple of months. But all in all, it's the people that keep bringing me back.
I want to crack that topic open a little bit. You say they're kind of watering down the content. I know ever since they started this whole free-to-play thing, we lost the Radiance. We lost how you can get the endgame gear and whatnot. Do you think that's having an impact on the type of player that we're getting nowadays at endgame?
Oh, absolutely. You got people that don't understand what endgame means. I mean, just yesterday I saw a post in GLFF for somebody who was trying to run Smaug Tier 2 Challenge. And this person was using level 81, I believe it was, or 82, third ages. Had their traits between 3 and 6. All of them. The gear that they were wearing was horrible. I mean, they're a hunter and they were wearing a Will and Fate earring, for God's sake. And then it was a level 75 piece. I don't think people really understand what the meaning of end game is. It implies that you are at the end of the game, that you have done all the work on your tune. Most people just want to get in these raids and have somebody who has done all the work carry them through it. And personally, I think people need to earn it.
Right, and I would think that I would say that it's a little bit harder for us to tell who is necessarily has earned, that spot. And
Absolutely, 100%. They've made it next to impossible with being able to barter for first ages. I mean, all they got to do is run Sambrog, the most idiotic one of the crew. That's all you ever see anymore. There's a handful of us that will post for completely random ones, and there's only a handful of people that actually know how to do them all, because all they do is Sambrog over and over and over and over. You can do a Sambrog in 5-6 minutes. Bang, you get seals, you pile them up, you get your first ages, or you get carried through. They'll jump in a good group, and they're absolutely horrible. I don't want to drop any names here, but there's a lore master on this server who is absolutely horrible. Although when you ask him, he's quote unquote the best lore master on the server because he's got a ton of golds. No, he's the luckiest lore master on the server. And that's what saddens me. This game has gone from favoring the skilled, or excuse me, favoring the lucky over the skilled.
Definitely,
Now,
and I think I know who you're talking about, that lore master. And I've ran so many instances so many times, and I've only gotten one gold to drop for me. I mean, I really wish that they would, kind of fix their drop rates, because it seems like everyone's getting, numerous, drops that they already have. I've seen that a ton of times where people have gotten the same gold item like 10 times, but yet some
now,
people have gotten none.
in your opinion, what would you do to change, or in the next expansion, what would you like to see, maybe to instances or drop rates or something to maybe not necessarily take it back, but to make it better per se?
Well, okay, for instance, if you go back to the Shadows of Angmar days and you just take a look at how we quested back then, these guys have taken the words quest line entirely too literally. Now, you have a line of quests, and if you miss one along the way, you're screwed. You have no way of figuring out, where was I at? You can't put in a ticket because they'll just say you missed a quest. Where? Sorry, can't tell you. And I do understand that they can't give away, how to play the game, but, you miss one lousy quest and you cannot continue. You were absolutely hogtied. Back in the day, you'd roll into Estelden and there'd be 40 people standing there with quests. You take what you want, you leave what you don't want, and move on. I like that. I also like the fact that every craft was useful back then. You could not do, well, you could, but you were getting carried through. But overall, you really couldn't do the Rift, which, by the way, is the greatest raid they've ever written. I seriously wish they would scale it up, but from what I understand, they're having some problems with that. But neither here nor there. You could not do the Rift and successfully get through it unless you had people who had all the top crafted gear. Once you had the top crafted gear, which you had to work your butt off to get, you could then go in and do the Rift to get your top gear. Nowadays, anybody can just go barter for the top gear by running the same thing over and over and over, taking some medallions and some seals and some marks, and bang, you've got top gear. So it's almost impossible to tell these days the good players from the people who just kind of cling on. And I don't mind helping somebody get through a raid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not some elitist fool who thinks, oh, I'm only going to run with the best, because as you guys know, I will always take somebody and I do not mind training them on how to do it. I just expect them to know their tune. It wasn't long ago I had a champion with me and we were in a situation where you could not do AoEs, and I said to them, you can't do AoEs, and they're like, what are AoEs? At level 85, you should not be asking that question.
Right. Very true. That's just simple common knowledge. Game mechanics.
Well, that's why, right when they had like the Radiance with Moria and stuff like that, it made it really difficult to be able to do the harder content, because you needed to have that Radiance for the dread effects and stuff like that. And I really kind of was bummed that they got rid of that whole system. You had to go and actually go to the instances to get your your Radiance gear, like with DN and stuff. So I'm really kind of interested what they're going to do with Helm's Deep, because as you know, starting at level 10, you can do content with endgame people at level 95. I'm not too sure on how the mechanics are going to work with that, but I think it might be getting worse as far as watering down the content.
I'm 100% with you. It does seem that way, although I don't read the forums a lot, mainly because I'm so busy in-game helping everybody that I can, that I just don't have the time. But I have a lot of people that read it for me and then get back to me with what they've picked up on. And one of the things that Sapiens has kind of went ahead and said was that a lower level tune that will go ahead and scale himself up to 95 will not be anywhere near as powerful as a true 95. But that's fine and dandy, but are we going to be able to tell the difference? You know, I mean, when we're out there looking, if somebody's scaled up and we're trying to put a group together and we just see that they're 95, are we going to know that they've scaled up from, you know, a level 10 or a level 15 tune, who is a person that spent a whopping 5 minutes on their tune and has no clue what they're doing? Or will we be able to tell the good players from the bad? And again, you know, I look at this from a raid leader's point of view. As a raid leader, it's my job to field the best 12 individuals I can put into that raid. And if I can't even tell the difference between the best 12, how am I supposed to continue to do my job and do it well?